This is Beatrice Boepple, Amanda Kruger in Nightmare on Elm Street 5, and you're listening to Tommy Throwback Kovac on Splat from the Past. Bless you, my naughty son.
Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now, for my fourth and final Halloween October show on Splat from the Past, I will be interviewing Grandpa from the original 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, John Dugan. I bet you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, he's still alive? He was like 120 in that movie. No, he was only 20 or something like that when he made that movie in 1973, but then it came out in 74. And I'm having him on the show today to talk about the making of that movie because it's the 45th anniversary of it. I tried all month long to get some people from Texas Chainsaw Massacre on, even though I already had Alan Danziger and Terry McMinn on last year. I tried to get some other people, but I'm glad John said yes, and I'm pretty excited. And that's who I'm having on the show for the fourth and final episode of Halloween October. So yeah, here is my interview with John Dugan. Hi, John.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Well, it's
what can I do for you, my friend?
Oh, well, it's such an honor. I want to thank you for taking the time on such short notice on Halloween today.
On Halloween, no less. I'm not booked. I did last weekend. It was my last show of the year.
Nice.
So.
Nice. So, just going back in time, I was reading that you attended the Goodman School of Drama at the Art Institute of Chicago.
Yes.
Had you always wanted to be an actor early on?
Well, no. In high school, I was active in the theater club, and I had never really thought about doing it, for my whole life as a living or anything, but and I hadn't really decided what I wanted to do after I got out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl I was dating at the time had all these catalogs on art schools.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to go to art school, and she had a catalog from the Art Institute. And I was looking through it, and the back two or three pages was about the theater school there. And I didn't even know if theater school existed,
Yeah.
Professional theater schools. And it was just like a light bulb went off my head,
Yeah.
So I auditioned, I wrote them, I got an audition, and I got in,
Yeah.
on the merits of my audition, which was a wonderful feeling.
Yeah. You had no desire of going to New York?
Oh, yeah, of course. Everybody wants to go to New York and, do the theater thing. I ended up going to L.A. and just trying to do the film thing. There was lots of theater going on in Chicago. And lots of small theater companies cropping up with really fine, creative people involved.
Yeah.
The theater company, Travel Light Theater, that I was involved with, and he had Wisdom Bridge Theater, and then Victory Gardens, Remains. There were all these theaters that were just so much happening there that when I got out of school.
Yeah. Steppenwolf Theater.
Steppenwolf, yeah, that's one I couldn't think. Yes, of course, Steppenwolf.
Yeah, they were brand new at that time, right?
Yeah, we all kind of. Steppenwolf was a little after my time.
Mm-hmm.
They were just happening when I came back to Chicago from Los Angeles in 1978 or
yeah,
something like that. 79.
Where are you from originally?
Indiana.
Indiana.
A little bitty town in west central Indiana.
Mm-hmm. So after school in Chicago, how did you get cast in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Well, I was doing a play at the Goodman for the summer in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And short story. Yeah, my brother-in-law wrote it. So it was pure nepotism. Tim Hankel was married to my sister.
Yeah.
And he called me. I was doing this children's play called The Terrible Tale. I was dressed up in green and yellow tights and dancing around, telling folk tales and singing folk songs and doing folk dances from around the world.
Yeah.
And a couple weeks later, I'm in Texas hitting a girl over the head with a sledgehammer. Yeah. It was a surreal summer.
Yeah. Did you like read the script and go, "What in the heck is this?"
Yeah. Yes, I did. It sounded like fun, though.
Mm-hmm. You were doing it purely for the art of it.
I beg your pardon?
You were doing it purely for just for the art of it.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's right. I just did it, I bought it because I wanted to see what it was like to do a film more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Did they tell you that?
And, all actors, even, those theater purists, I'm only going to do theater, but they never turned down a film job, Everybody wants to be in a movie, even if you're not an actor,
Yeah. So did you know that it was based on a true story?
It's very loosely based on the story of the King.
Mm-hmm.
But he only killed a couple people. He was basically a necrophiliac and a grave robber.
Yeah.
And he was artsy, craftsy kind of guy,
Yeah.
Selling his lampshades at yard sales and shit. I don't know. He should have done. But yeah, God knows what made me snap one day and kill somebody,
Yeah.
Because he strictly had been a grave robber, and necrophiliac. And
I think he was schizophrenic too. Yeah. I was reading that.
Guy for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was reading that you refused to go through the makeup process again because it was so hot that summer.
Yeah, I don't know who came up with that fucking story. That's simply not true.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happened was that 30-something hour day where we shot the dinner party scene.
Yeah.
And towards the end there. The reason they had to finish up, we had to go, shoot straight through, was because Jim Seedow had a job in Houston, a theater job. He was casting a play. And they only had 2 sets of prosthetics for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And so they had to shoot Jim and I out. Then I never refused. I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I might have pissed and moaned about it.
Yeah.
I said I'll only do it for 10 hours or something. But I wouldn't have refused to do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How long overall did?
Somebody made that up just to, I don't know. I don't know who started that rumor.
Yeah.
Probably Toby.
Probably. Yeah. How long did it take overall though to put the makeup on?
The first time took about 7 hours, and I worked for 10 or 12 hours.
Wow.
And the second time, it took like about 5 hours, and I was in makeup for well over 24 hours.
Wow. So you were there for 2 days?
And I just did 2 days.
Wow.
2 very long days.
Mm-hmm. And during this process, did you think at all that this movie would be so good as it was?
No, I don't think we had any idea. I don't think anybody had any idea. I don't know at what point I thought, well, we may be on to something here. I did watch the dailies pretty often. I thought it looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's without any any, post on it. It was just rough footage.
How was that?
Until, it was all edited and everything, But then when I saw it in a movie theater for the first time at the Chicago Theater on State Street in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
I saw it with an audience. And I saw people react. I saw probably 15 to 20 people get up and leave when Terry got hung on the meat hook. I told Terry, you got a walking ovation in Chicago. I realized maybe we were onto something,
Yeah.
And then it became sort of in pop culture became a thing, that people would mention, that's first in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's,
Yeah.
It was like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in there, whatever.
Yeah.
It became, kind of lingo, and Johnny Carson mentioned it in his monologue, so.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's when you can realize, well, you made it when Carson mentioned you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my dad saw the movie in the theater when he was 17, and he said that there were people in the front row vomiting. There was people just running out of there. He says it was just intense energy in that theater watching this movie.
And it's not that bloody or anything.
Yeah. Not even for that time, I guess.
No, there's very little blood and guts in it. There's no bag of guts spilling out out of somebody's stomach, and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
People swear there is, though,
Yeah.
People swear they see the meat hook go into Terry's back. You don't see that. You see her react to it.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't see it go into her back. It's like you don't see Paul Martin cut in half.
Yeah.
It's shot from behind, it's shot in silhouette from behind. So, there's a fair amount of blood. I mean, Marilyn is kind of beat up.
Yeah.
And she's so bloody in the end there.
Yeah. I remember being 13 years old and seeing the movie for the first time, and I was a little disturbed at the dinner table scene. I thought it was one of the most gruesome things I had ever witnessed. But I also,
It is very. It just doesn't let up. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You can feel the tension. You can feel it. It's like the tension in the room was just palpable.
Yeah.
And we were all fried, man. I mean, we've just been working on that scene for 20-some hours, and we all wanted to go home.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, I think Toby just kept shooting and shooting and shooting until he got what he wanted. And once we were all, totally exhausted and stressed out, he got what he wanted,
Yeah.
As Gunnar said one time, there was a point where I actually thought, let's just kill her.
Yeah.
I want to go home. Let's just kill her.
Yeah.
Need a shower, a beer. Just kill her. Finish it up.
How was Toby, though, overall as a director?
Not bad. He was really... he didn't... he seemed more concerned with the actual filmmaking, the camera, the camera angle, the lighting, the composition of the picture and that sort of thing. And Tim Hinkle was kind of the one. He was constantly rewriting dialogue, all that scene, that dinner table scene.
Mm-hmm.
He was just writing furiously and tearing off a page to saying, try this, and handing it to somebody. So, and he was the one that gave me direction, and I think gave other people direction as well,
Yeah. How was working with the cast?
Oh, great. Wonderful. Lifelong friends, I make friends for life.
Mm-hmm.
I still see a few of them, the ones that are still alive.
Yeah.
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 I just saw Ed in Massachusetts Massachusetts a couple weeks ago, and I saw Ed Terry in Canada, like back in June. I saw them in Oklahoma City in July. So we've done a few shows this year. It's our 45th anniversary.
Yep.
So we've done a few together.
Yeah.
Not as many as I thought we would, being a 45th anniversary and all that.
Yeah, I wish they'd book you. I wish they'd book you guys here in California because I'd go see you.
Well, the thing about California cons is they have so many actors there.
Yeah.
That they don't want to fly somebody out.
I know.
Why fly somebody out, put them up when you've got somebody who lives in Burbank and you can go home?
Yeah.
To sleep at home, I think. You still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes they'll fly somebody, out from somewhere because there's a movie reunion or something, Other than that, yeah, I know what you mean. Terry and Alan, they both have been on the podcast, and they told me that nobody in the cast saw any money. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of money from signing autograph stuff. I mean, I've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
It's my retirement,
Yeah, 'cause I've talked to a lot of people from Landmark 70s horror movies, and so many of them didn't get paid, because they didn't know that they were making a successful movie. They didn't know the business side,
Right. Exactly.
It's a sad thing, and so many of them are bitter, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, I was a little bitter about it, but hell,
yeah.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. So after the movie comes out and becomes this controversial phenomenon, did you decide that you just didn't want to pursue acting anymore?
No, I went out to LA for a few years, and then I came back in the late 70s. I think I came back in 79 to Chicago, and then I met a woman, got married, and then we had a child in 1984. And then I had to sign, I just had to hang it up. I had to work,
Yeah.
It's hard to juggle an acting career with being a responsible parent.
Yeah.
And so I just laid off of it, came back to it later in life. I do 1 or 2 films a year now,
Yeah, you then came back, you got to be in Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
And 3D. I've been in 3 of them.
Yeah. Did everyone on the set of those movies, all the young actors, did they know who you were?
Oh, yeah. Particularly on 3D, they really showed a lot of reverence to us,
Yeah.
They really took the it was kind of embarrassing.
Really?
People wanted to do stuff for you. No, I can walk over there and make myself a sandwich.
Were they saying
yeah, and I was only 1 day on Next Generation, which I did get to spend most of the day with Renee Zellweger. But she wasn't rich and famous fan or anything.
No.
Max Moscati was in that film too, but he wasn't there that day.
Yeah.
But Marilyn and Paul were. We were all 3 in the same scene. Where he pushes her through. She's on a gurney in the hospital. He pushes her through past me, and Renee and I look up at them.
Yeah.
Curiously. I thought it was a neat twist to have Paul pushing Marilyn, So she had to push him out through the woods. Everything.
Did you resist?
Part of the genius that is Kim Henkel when it comes to his writing.
Yeah.
He's like the first screenwriter ever, I think, to make the handicapped character just fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
Just so irritating. Me almost applaud when he dies. You know.
Yeah.
You know, the handicapped people have always been sympathetic before.
Yeah. Well, in the second one, Bill Moseley stole that whole movie.
Yeah.
You know, playing Chop Top.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was so brilliant in that role. Did you like the second one?
Yeah, but it certainly wasn't the first one.
No.
It was much more of a comedy.
Yeah.
You know, they really played up the comedy.
Much more comedy, more money.
There was comedy in the first one, but it was way more subtle.
Yeah, it was much more darker.
Uh-huh.
You know. So, you've been back making movies since like the late 2000s. Did that happen because of the convention scene?
Starting movies, doing films again?
Yeah. Were you going to conventions and then you were getting offered movie roles?
Yeah, that's kind of when I started going to conventions. People understood that I was alive, you know,
Yeah.
around and everything. So I've been kind of reclusive.
Yeah.
You know, I've just been trying to live my life and pay the bills and, you know, work my fingers to the bone. So this is much better what I'm doing now. But, you know, I do this Social Security now and everything.
That's good.
So that gives me the freedom to just do conventions and films now. I know what my bottom line's going to be every month. Nothing to live on, but,
yeah.
You know, between my wife's income and mine, you know, and then what I bring in doing films and conventions, you know, it's all right.
Do you have any upcoming movies that you can talk about?
Okay, two were just released in the last couple of months. The first one, let's see, July 23rd, we released Rock, Paper, Scissors.
Oh, yeah.
And it's written by
Victor Miller.
Tom Holland.
Yes.
Who wrote, Vic Miller.
Victor Miller.
Friday the 13th, and it's directed by Tom Holland. It's directed by Friday Friday night.
Right.
And so that was a gas to work on. I got to play a really, really awful guy. And Tom just let me go, man. He was great with me. He was like, after we set up, he said, John, where you been for 40 years, man? So I go, okay,
Yeah.
And he said, let me ask you something. Are you afraid of overacting this all? I said, well, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I go really nuts on this thing. So I'm trying to come in somewhat subtly that don't do that. So what? You are playing a psychopath in the memory of a psychopath.
Yeah.
Well, Uncle Charles, the guy that the man he you know?
Yeah.
Who just, abuses him sexually, physically, emotionally, mentally, all those things. And he said, so you are, a psychopath in the memory of a psychopath. You cannot act as the way he said it. I was like, okay. So give me some more of that weird breathing. And, we're doing it. The next 3 days were fucking weird. I just enjoyed it so much. That was July 23rd. And then Deviant Behavior, which brought me back to Texas again. We shot in Corpus Christi. I play and it just came out last week. I play a washed up, pretty much alcoholic police detective. Teams up with an old partner of his who is now a washed up alcoholic private investigator. That sounds terrible. To find a psycho serial killer.
Yeah.
And it looks wonderful from what I've seen of it. So.
Oh, that's good.
And I posted they've got a couple thieving behavior. Look it up. It's cool. I posted this. It was on my Facebook page yesterday, I think, or the day before. I posted one of the music videos up there.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who played the lead role, his name is lead role is Charlie, but his name is Eric Ravine.
Yeah.
Did all the music too. He's one of those multi-talented people. Acts, writes songs, plays several instruments, sings, and designs websites.
Yeah, that is multi-talented there.
Yeah, he's the kind of person you just want to slap him. Stop it, you're making me look bad.
Yeah.
He's been a sweetheart of a guy. Very little ego to speak of for somebody who's that just fucking creative, you know.
Yeah.
And I had Ball doing that one too.
Yeah, I need to see Rock Paper.
It was nice being on the Gulf Coast of Texas again, and matter of fact, Stacy and I went back down there, and we stayed at Kim Hinkle's beach house.
Nice.
On Port Aransas, right on the Gulf of Mexico for 4 days. That Memorial Day.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great, except for the sunburn.
Yeah, I need to see
You
Rock.
always underestimate that goddamn sun down in the Gulf of Mexico,
Yeah. I need to see Rock, Paper, Scissors. I talked to Victor Miller about it this summer, and he's a great guy.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Did he talk to you all about his lawsuit with Sean Cunningham?
Oh, no, he still can't talk about that.
He can't. Oh, I thought it was settled.
No, he didn't even mention it, no. I'm curious to know about it, though, because, yeah, when I heard about that, I was like, wow, you know.
Well, I'm sure, he's not on Facebook anymore, and I have a feeling it's because he was getting fucking death threats and shit, man.
Yeah.
And you know what, this is not so much the Friday the 13th fans as it is the Friday the 13th, the video game fans.
Huh.
That are awful.
That's interesting.
You want new content.
Yeah.
And they're terrible. I mean, they say awful, hateful things.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've had to unfriend people.
Yeah, they're crazy.
It's just, people get on a keyboard and say they would never say that to somebody's face,
Yeah. That's terrible.
I hate that, poor Dick had to go through that. I've been friends for years.
Yeah.
We met at a convention, sat next to each other all weekend, and became fast friends,
Yeah.
And he's the reason I was cast in Rock, Paper, Scissors.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, the producers wanted somebody local. They didn't want to put me up, fly me out there.
Yeah.
And he's stuck with me.
Mm-hmm. That's good, though, that you two are friends and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of horror fans out there that are just absolutely nuts, and they've really taken over the troll culture on the internet.
Oh, yeah, they have, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So are there any convention appearances you have coming up?
I am done for the year.
Mm-hmm.
I've got something. Well, I'd like to do Florida in February, or is it the end of January, but I haven't heard anything back. At Pensacon, Pensacola. And I have agreed to do an April show in Kentucky somewhere.
Oh, probably Days of the Dead.
I can't remember.
Are you talking about Days of the Dead?
No, I don't do that show. Oh, God. It's a new show.
Oh, okay.
I did a film with the guy, who's one of the guys who's doing the show, so I said I'd help him out. I can't remember where or what the goddamn show is. Now I feel terrible.
Yeah, it's okay. But that's what happens when you're old. Oh, and then
with the radiation therapy and what's it called, chemo.
Yeah.
My brain is just like fried. And of course, all those years doing acid and shit. All the acid, mescaline, and psilocybin, amphetamines.
Yeah. Well, John, I thank you so much for coming on today on such short notice on Halloween. Like I said, I hope, some people out in California books you guys in the future. They put some money toward it. And I hope you have a happy Halloween and happy holidays.
Yes, same to you. Happy Halloween. What are you doing tonight?
I'm just going to stay home and watch horror movies.
Dole out candy?
Yeah, we're gonna do the candy thing for the trick-or-treaters.
I live way out in the country, and we've never had a trick-or-treater up there.
Yeah, I'm semi in the countryside in Redding, California, and in our little area over here, there's not a whole lot of trick-or-treaters, but my godparents on the other side, they get like 200 trick-or-treaters a year.
No shit.
Yeah, and they don't even give them the mini bars. They give them like the full-fledged candy bars.
Oh, that's why people go. They first to the grapevine, to the candy bar grapevine.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I used to work with a gaffer.
Yeah.
In Chicago, and also lighting an electrical group. And he and his wife and their children, they had an old hound dog. They treated him like a child.
Yeah.
I was so lazy to lay down to eat. Sometimes Paul would sleep with his nose in his bowl. But he was always into FX and stuff, lighting effects and all,
right.
all sorts of stuff. And they had a big old, what they call painted lady up on the north side of Chicago. There's a big older two-story home. I don't know, Victorian or something, with all the gingerbread, neat colors, all that stuff. And they would do their whole fucking porch up. There was, all this stuff. And then, and he would hide. They'd both be tricked out in always very costumes and shit. They'd jump up to the shit. They had more fun than kids did, I think. But they would have a line half block long because they decorate the inside of the house too, So they'd come in, the living room was like a miniature haunted house, Yeah. They had to come inside to get their candy.
Yeah.
And boy, he just loved that stuff. We decorate. My wife and her family are really big on Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of her sisters got married on Halloween. As a matter of fact. They wanted to do a zombie wedding, but Michelle's, or Melissa's husband's grandmother wouldn't hear of it. They were all sorry they were going to get dressed up as zombies for the wedding. But
I would like to get married on Christmas Eve. If I could do that. Yeah, if I could get married, it would be on Christmas Eve. I would like to have a Christmas wedding.
Wow, cool. You dress up like an elf or anything like that?
No, I would just wear, a tuxedo. I'd be wearing, we'd be wearing normal bride and groom clothes, but there would be Christmas decorations everywhere.
Yeah, the top of Michelle and Brian's cake had zombies on it. Zombie bride and groom was the only concession that his grandma would make. Well, buddy, I gotta start getting dinner ready for my lovely wife, who will be home in about an hour.
Okay, John, thank you so much.
How are things in Redding? Are you burning up there?
We had a fire here last summer in 2018, but no, it's going on in Santa Rosa in L.A.
Yeah. Well, hell, it got down to the fucking valley.
Yeah.
It was Topanga Canyon and Ventura Boulevard. So businesses and residential down there.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of here by next spring.
And it's not going to get any better. It's just going to happen every year, worse and worse and worse. And the people are just going to have to move.
Yeah, it's the sad part about it. But, John, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Anything
Okay.
I can do for you, just let me know, okay?
My pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh. Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. John Dugan. Ain't he a cool dude? He was a very nice man. Very funny man. I didn't expect him to be so funny. He was. And, wow. That's how the things were from the perspective of the 120-year-old man. Awesome. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Thank you all for supporting Halloween October all month long on Splat from the Past. I will be announcing on Facebook how many episodes with horror people I did all month long and see if I topped or equaled last year. Later, dudes!